Hi guys, thank you so much for being here. My name is Valerie. In this video, we are looking at how to measure your window for your curtains and your draperies. There are two things I need you to consider when you're doing these measurements. One, use a metal tape. The metal tape will stay stiff and give you the measurement that you need. Number two is you're measuring from top to bottom. Go like this. So you take it down. So the measurement that you need will be at the bottom so that you don't have to be looking up for your measurement. Now let's get started by looking at the little diagram, the line diagram I have on the board here. It represents a wall, and that wall has a window just about in the center. Now off to the side here I have CL. CL stands for ceiling line. Down here I have FF. FF stands for finished floor. That makes a difference when you're measuring for your window treatments, because if you're doing a new build and your flooring is not yet finished, then you have to take that into consideration, because your floor could take off another 4 inches or so depending on the type of finish your floor will have. So make sure that you consider that. Now what we have to do here is decide on how far below the ceiling line or how high above the window frame we need the curtains to sit. Take for example, we need the curtains to sit just about 8 inches from the window frame, and we need them to sit off to the side about 4 inches from the frame. Then what we'll do is measure up 8 inches here, measure across 4 inches here. Wherever the line intersects, that is your point A. Now generally we would balance off the measurement on the other side, and that will depend on what's happening on your wall, right? But for this purpose, we'll go ahead and say we have another 4 inches over here. We're going up 8 inches, and so where the line intersects over here, it's point B. So we will have a line from point A all the way across to point B. That will be the width of the window treatment. And we're not talking about thinking about fullness or anything like that, because that's another calculation for your fabric. But first, we have to get these measurements, right? Now we have our width here. Our length will be from point A. If we're going to the finished floor length curtains, then this would be point C. So we measure from point A all the way down to the finished floor, which is point C, and that will be our length. Now for our curtains and draperies, these are the only two measurements that we have, that we need. They are pretty straightforward, across the top and down, width and length. We are going to use that width that you found and the length to calculate how much fabric you will need to make your curtains. Now fabrics can be different widths, so let's establish the width of the fabric that we will use to make those curtains. And for this purpose, I'm going to go ahead and use a very common width of decor fabric, which is 54 inches. So your fabric is 54 inches. The width of this window is 6 feet. However, to that 6 feet, we will need to add side hems. And if you're making 2 panels, it means that you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 side hems. Now your side hems are usually doubled, and they can be 1 inch double hem or 2 inches double hem. So 4 times 2 equal 8 inches. So we will need to add 8 inches to this 6 feet for our calculation. And what we're doing right now is establishing how many widths of this 54-inch fabric we will need to go across the window. So our overall width is 6 feet 8 inches. Our fabric width is 54 inches. So what we want to do is convert our 6 feet 8 inches into inches across the board, right? There are 12 inches in a foot, which means that we multiply 12 by 6 and we get 2 6s are 12, 2 6 1 6 and 1 72. So 6 12s are 72 plus 8 inches, which is the double hem for the sides. That's going to be 80 inches. Now, not only do we need to put the side hems on the width, but then we need to figure out what fullness we want on our draperies. So your fullness can be single, which means that you won't have much gathers or pleats, or your fullness can be 1.5, 2, 3, and so on, right? Now, a double fullness will give you a decent amount of gathers. So let's just do a double fullness. When you're doing your calculations, if you want to do like a triple fullness, then go ahead and use a triple fullness, which means that you will multiply by 3. Here we are going to multiply by 2 because we are doing a double fullness. So we'll multiply the 80 inches by 2, and that equals 2 8s are 16. That's 160 inches. Now we'll take this 160 inches and we will divide by 54 inches, because remember now we are trying to find out how many 54 inches we'll need to go across the window. So that's 160 divided by 54. Now I could do some long division, but I think I'm just going to grab the calculator and just use the calculator. So that's 160 divided by 54 equals 2.96. 2.96. However, we're talking about widths of fabric, and we can't buy partial widths. We have to buy a full width. So therefore, we'll have to round up this 2.96 widths to 3 widths. So we will need 3 widths of fabric. So now that we have established how many widths of fabric we will need, let's go on and look at our length. Now our length here is 7 feet. Okay, so for our length, we will also need to add increments. And those increments are for the top hem and the bottom hem to finish off the curtain panel, right? Now, generally, I'll suggest that you do a 4-inch double hem. So if we have a 4-inch double hem at the top and a 4-inch double hem at the bottom, it means that it's going to be 4 times 4, because remember, a double hem has 2 folds, right? I will link a video so you can check out the double hem and the best way to do your double hems when you're doing your curtains. But that's going to be 4 times 4, and 4 fours are 16, so that's 16 inches. Our next step is to add 16 inches to 7 feet. But before we do that, let's go ahead and convert our 7 feet to inches. So there are 12 inches in a foot. Therefore, we have 84 inches. So it's 84 inches plus 16 inches. And that's going to give us 6 and 4, 10, 8, 1, 9. That's 100 inches. So our overall length is 100 inches. The next step is to multiply this 100 inches, which is from top to bottom here, by 3, because we need 3 widths to go across the window. So that will be 300 inches. So in order for us to find out how many yards of fabric we will need, we will have to divide this 300 inches by 36 inches, because there are 3 feet in a yard and there are 12 inches in a foot, right? So 3 12s are 36. So 300 divided by 36 equals 8.33 yards. But what I like to do is to round up when we're buying fabrics, because we want to make sure that we have enough. So we don't want to cut this 0.33 yards off. That's gonna make us run short on fabric. So let's round up to 8.5. So we will need 8.5 yards of fabric. And you could go ahead and buy 9 yards. So you can get some decorative cushions to go along with your curtains. Now, if you're making draperies, lined curtains are draperies, right? If you are going to line your window treatments, then you need to buy the same amount of lining as your decorative fabric. I hope that's helpful. I hope you were able to follow what I just did here. Drop me a comment, drop me a question, and I'll be glad to explain what I did here. I link all the other videos for you that can help you along. Thank you again so much for being here. If you have not hit that subscription button yet, go ahead and hit it. And remember to turn on your bell notification icon so you can be notified of new videos, new uploads that will help you to make it home. Please like, share, and comment. I will see you in the next one.